It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw. Before we get started, we want to help you save some money.
That's right, folks. Don't forget to use our promo codes to save that money. And let's start off with buckbaits.com. That's right, the brick and mortar store of Buck Baits down at Sterling Heights, Michigan at 15 and Dodge Park. Go over there. If you're on the website, buckbaits.com, use the promo code UNJ20. That will get you 20% off your order.
For those of you who are looking for Easy Cut products, make sure you go to easycutproducts.com. And when you're there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ15 off to save 15% off your order.
And let's not forget Lincoln Roan over at packermax.com. It's never too early, never too late to think about the Packermax. Go on over to packermax.com, use the promo code UNJ25. That'll get you $25 off your order over at Packermax Outdoor.
For those of you looking for some new firearms and firearm products, make sure you go over to the islandarmory.com. While you're there shopping, use the promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order there.
If you shot that bird of a lifetime and you want it mounted, don't forget Troublesome Creek Taxidermy. We've had them live on the show. We've talked to them. You want to get 10% off your order, go to Facebook, go to troublesome.creek.7, find their website. If you go to our website, UNJ, make sure to click on the button to download the form. You get 10% off over there using the code UNJ10.
Looking for that game call, whether it be a squirrel, whether it be goose, duck, deer, make sure you go to JPO Game Calls. Look for them at jpogamecalls.com, and while you're there shopping, use the UNJ10 promo code to save 10% off your order.
And Miller Deer Tracking, the man that seems to never sleep during deer season. Get 20% off your next deer tracking using the promo code UNJ20. Look for Miller Deer Tracking on Facebook or give him a call over at 810-240-4891.
Looking for the hottest new plastics to take on the water, whether it be hard water or soft water? Make sure you go over to southernindianabaitco.com. While there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order.
Deer Camp Coffee, folks. We drink it every night on the show. You want to try it? You can go to the brick and mortar store at 15 and Dodge Park at Deer Camp itself, or go to deercampcoffee.com. Also use our promo code UNJ10. You get 10% off your order. And don't forget, get a bag of the UNJ medium roast blend there as well.
All right, Danny, where's our live view camera look from tonight?
Welcome back to a live episode of Up North Journal this Wednesday night as we take a live downtown look into Newberry, where it's a balmy 37 degrees with mixed precipitation. Hello, UP of Michigan. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Dan, what's going on? Where are we looking at? This looks very familiar.
Yeah, we're looking downtown Newberry. Obviously, you're thinking about pizza and coffee.
Yeah, over at Cedars.
Right? Big shout out to Deer Camp Coffee. And you're letting me use the Swamp Buck drink holder today, and you got Deer Camp.
Yeah, we are drinking Deer Camp. We have wall hanger tonight. So it's a little cool up here in Michigan, or southern Michigan. Our guests up in Upper Peninsula right now who are sitting in the wings, probably a little colder up there than it is down here. But I had to make some coffee tonight because it is a little chilly here.
Right?
So,
we talked about it last week that we were going to have on. We started a partnership with the UP Press up north, and every month one show we're going to dedicate to some new people that we're going to interview that are going to be at the show in November. But before we get there, a big shout out to Sarah Greenland. Found out this week she got a big promotion. She was in the advertising department who started our partnership, but she's now been promoted to publisher.
Of the Daily Press.
Of the Daily Press.
There you go. Congratulations. So now, let's jump right into it tonight. Danny, you ready?
I'm ready. So let's go on up to the UP and talk to Morgan and Katelyn.
You know, how you girls doing tonight? But I will have to say, first of all, we feel kind of old. I don't know that we've interviewed two young ladies as young as they are on the show before. So, welcome to the show, ladies.
Hi, thank you.
Good to have you on. So, we're going to talk tonight about the UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo specifically. And Morgan is the event coordinator
over at Visit Escanaba.
And Katelyn is
the owner of Beaver Lures.
There you go. So
Big shout out to Adam Wayne, who I do believe he has some in his tackle box from this past season.
I do believe so. And as soon as we see him check in here with us, we'll probably be getting some questions from him tonight. So,
but yeah, so welcome to the show, ladies. Glad you're with us. How is the weather up there? I know last week we talked. It was beautiful down here. It was beautiful up there. So how's the weather today?
Snowy. Gloomy, snowy, cold.
With
All
a
right.
little bit of wind.
It is Michigan, right?
no, it's the UP, man.
Well-
Does it ever get warm up there? Be honest.
It was really nice, like last weekend, 70s.
Oh, it does get in the 70s up there. Okay.
Oh, it gets 80, you're in trouble. Trust me, those deer flies and black flies will carry you out of that woods.
All right.
But Morgan, start with you with Visit Escanaba. You are the event coordinator. This show that we are having in November, the UP Ice Fishing Show, which is happening
November.
3rd through the 5th. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening those days. This is your baby, I was told, so we're going to let you talk about your baby for a little while.
Yeah, well, this past year was the first annual Ice Fishing Hunting Expo, and it took place in October. This year, it, like you said, is happening in the very beginning of November. And yeah, last year there was, I want to say, maybe about 30 vendors, and this year I'm expecting there to be a lot more. But there was a good variety of people that showed up. There were fur trappers, we had a lot of different lure makers, we have a couple different ice fishing and fishing in general, I guess, shops in Escanaba, Gladstone, Delta County, and they set up shop there. I know you mentioned Blades is going to be on your show. They had quite a display there and a variety of different ice shacks. So, yeah, it was a really good turnout for the first year.
You know, I remember when the young man and woman who come up with this whole concept and talked about starting this show. When we talked to them, you know, they said that they had people coming from downstate, coming up across the bridge. You know, y'all finally call us trolls. We'll take that. We trolled our way up across the bridge and went over to Escanaba. But they said that they had some from actually down in Detroit. They had, I think, some people from Wisconsin. Am I right, Danny?
Yeah.
So you were pulling from a big variety of people geographically and pulling them into the UP. How important is something like this for that area, you know, to draw people in, for the locals?
It's definitely important. Upper Michigan is absolutely beautiful, regardless of, you know, the crummy weather this time of year. There's tons to offer outdoors wise, and to have something of this nature is perfectly fitting. And there are a lot of outdoorsmen that aren't necessarily living in Delta County or the UP, but like you had said, Dan, you live downstate and you travel all the way up here to go to camp. So
I tell you what, there's nothing better for me than when I hit that Mackinac Bridge. When I start to head west on US 2, it's a total different sensation. If anybody, and I find it shocking, and I still will find people who've never been to the UP, and if anybody's wanting to go to the UP, first off,
Call Danny.
well, don't do that.
He'll take it.
You can actually go to visitescanaba.com and check out all the things they have over by Escanaba. And but yeah, if you've never been to the UP, whether it's the eastern end, Tequamanon Falls, or over by you in Escanaba there, or over kind of where I'm at over in Crystal Falls, there's so much to see. But a good place to start is visitescanaba.com, right, Morgan?
yeah, we have a really beautiful website. I am specifically in charge of the event portion of it, but we talk about the different parks and campgrounds, hotels, restaurants, things to do in Delta County, and there's a lot happening. This is a really beautiful area. I moved here about 2 years ago, and I'm already hook, line, and sinker in love with it.
You know, for people who maybe not into just the hunting and fishing, they're like, well, why would I go up there? Well, there's kayaking, there's canoeing, there's got to be some trails to hike up there as well. Fall color tour is another thing. And I'm thinking about coming up and doing Lake in the Clouds for a week this year with my girlfriend. We're going to take the camper up. So there's snow skiing in the winter. So there's a lot more than just hunting and fishing, and everybody goes, oh, Escanaba in the Moonlight. As much as I love that movie and find it dear to my heart, a lot of people kind of get that in their head, that's all there is to do, but Michigan offers so much more.
Definitely. Yeah, all summer long and into the fall, we have farmers markets in Rapid River, Gladstone, and Escanaba multiple times a week, and all of the local farmers bring their produce in there. There are a lot of people that have craft vendors, make things like knives and homemade bowls and quilts and things of that nature. And it is a really beautiful area. We have quite a few music festivals. There's racing all summer long. One of the things I was really surprised moving to this area is how music heavy and race heavy it is here, aside from the typical hunting fishing of the UP. So
when you talk about racing, is that you talking automobiles or snowmobile or both?
Both, all year round, honestly. So they have ice racing. They actually race out on the hard water, and that's with four-wheelers and dirt bikes. They have snowmobile racing. During the summertime, they race cars on tracks. There's a lot of different, ATV, mud run type things. So yeah, there's a lot going on for racing.
That sounds like that's right up my alley. I'd take a Jeep up there.
There you go.
There's a lot of car shows too.
Okay.
Right in the beginning of June, we have the Cruisin' Classics coming up, which is a huge car show and really something to see if you're into that.
There's a lot of stuff to do up there.
Oh, there's a ton of things to do, and I bet you both you girls will be busy the weekend of July 21 and 22 at the Northern Lights Music Fest.
Yeah, I will definitely be working that weekend. I've been extremely busy. We've got Keith Urban coming as our headliner to our first annual Northern Lights Music Festival. So yeah, it'll be big. It's we're expecting to sell 15,000 tickets, and Escanaba has a population of 12,000 people. So
I was going to say that there's not that many people in town, I don't think.
Right?
it'll be wild.
And that's awesome. And like you said, you're the event coordinator for the UP Ice Fishing Show and Hunting Expo. But it wouldn't be a show if you didn't have vendors. And Katelyn Beaver, owner of Beavers Lures, is on tonight. Katelyn, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You are the owner of Beaver Lures, and you're pretty young. So you're going to have to give us a little background as to how this happened, because...
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things that started out as a hobby. During like the year of COVID when that had first started, I didn't have school, I didn't have work, so I had a lot of free time on my hands, and we just did a lot of fishing. It was awesome. We got to fish like every day, and then I picked up the hobby of making the fishing lures, and we would use them. I would started to sell them to like friends and family, and then word kind of slowly started to spread. I made a Facebook page, and then like one day I just had a bunch of orders, and I was like, I think I can make something of this. So that's kind of, I guess, how it all started.
Taking an idea as something, a hobby, as something you got a love for, and then turning it into money, that's got to be the best job ever, no matter what it is, if you got that kind of passion for it. So explain a little bit when you say you make the lures. Do you like buy the hooks and then the fasteners to attach them to the blade, or do you make the blades yourself? How does that all work?
So with all of our jigs, we mold all of those, and then we'll paint them, put the hooks on, package. And then our spoons, we do get those blanks, but then we do the whole airbrushing, hooks, packaging with those.
Okay, one at a time.
So these are each individually hand done.
Yeah, yep. So we airbrush everything by hand.
So you can honestly say there's no two alike.
Correct. That is true.
And legitimately, when you say handmade,
yeah,
obviously, like she said, the blanks.
Yeah.
But after that point, they're handmade and put together. That is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
We're browsing through your webpage right now, and like your casting spoons is like a purple one, and another one that's got a blue to it. it's just now I got to ask you, everyone that you've come up with, obviously no two's alike. Have you tested all these out?
Yeah, yep. So we probably go fishing maybe like 2 times a week, maybe a little more than I should, but you got to test the product, right?
There you go.
Absolutely. You got to put your name. Well, you are putting your name behind your product. It's tested, so you got to get out there and do it. But
Yeah, right now we've been fishing for like coho salmon and steelhead, brown trout. So I've been able to test out a lot of our new spoon colors this spring. So that's been great.
That's awesome. And for those of you watching us on the live show, we've been kind of cruising the website, but also she has a Facebook page, Beaver Lures. Go over there, give her a like, share it over there as well. But as you see there, she's got some videos. She's actually got some of pictures. And we're going to get to this later in the show, but I'm just kind of showing the picture of something glowing. So it's going to be kind of cool. We want to dive into that one too. But so obviously at your young age, you're now a businesswoman in the community. But it's going to be good to meet you up at the show. So I tell you what, we're going to come up on our first break. When we come back, how about we dive back into the UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo?
All right, we're going to take a quick step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible.
By basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. We got some questions popping in already. Want to give a big shout out to Tim Sias from West Virginia. He calls it the best Virginia. I know Whirlybird would probably differ on that opinion of which Virginia is actually best, but he's not here tonight to defend himself. But Tim asks, what pattern would you recommend for trout? He didn't specify what kind of trout, though.
Yeah, that's a good question. So my favorite for brown trout is probably our color pattern Pinky, but we did come out with a new color pattern called Bumble Goby.
Okay.
And we did catch a 26-inch brown on it this year. So that was pretty awesome.
That's a nice size brown. Danny's actually looking it up right now, see if we can find that one.
What was it called?
Bumble Goby.
Bumble Goby.
I don't see it offhand.
It's kind of more of like a natural pattern. So if you're fishing really clear waters like Lake Superior, for example, that would be a good pattern to use.
Okay, all right. And that's going to be for brown trout, or would that work for some of the other, like a rainbow or a brookie?
Yeah, you could definitely use that for rainbow trout as well.
Okay. Danny's actually on there. There you go. He's calling it up right now.
Is it got a brown, a couple black stripes to it with a white tail kind of thing?
Yep.
There's your Bumble Goby.
There you go. So when somebody comes to your website to order something, can they order onesie twosies? Or do you need to order have a certain amount sold to be able to ship? Is it better to buy 5s, 10s? How does that all work?
Yeah, so you could order 1 lure or you could order 10 lures. We do free shipping with $50 orders, though.
Okay.
Right there at the top of the website. If you visit, remember people, beaverlures.com, free shipping on orders, $50 orders or more.
So Tim, break that grant out, man. Spend $50.
Right.
Pry that thing out of your wallet. So he said thank you for the information. So that's a good deal. Now on the website, so you get the patterns there. I'm new to the fishing scene, let's say, and I want to get something here for Michigan. I'm going to fish, let's say I'm going to fish for brown trout. And I'm going to fish maybe the Asabo. I'm going to fish maybe one of the rivers up there by you. Maybe not so much, the bigger lakes or anything like that. As far as obviously got to check your regulations on what type of bait you can use. But if I'm going to order a lure from you, Where do I start with for trout? Because that's a popular fish to go for. Where do we start with sizing? How do we determine what size we're going to get?
I would probably go with the 2/5 ounce trolling spoon if you're going to be trolling. We do have casting spoons, and I'd probably use the medium size casting spoon.
Okay, so kind of just a general broad range type size, kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and with the show coming up in November, you're going to have a booth there, and you're going to have a lot of these there?
Yeah, so I'll have all of our current lures that we're selling, and then we're also going to be having some new sizes and color patterns here pretty soon, so we should have those available. And yeah, if anybody has like any questions, how to use something, we could totally answer those for you at the show.
Okay. All right.
We plan to be there, so we will take you live on Facebook again, and we'll tell everybody about you. Morgan, speaking of coming up to the show, if we're traveling and I want to know a place I can stay, where should I go?
Well, I guess it depends. A lot of fishermen really enjoy staying right on the water. So I guess probably I would suggest... Sorry, I've got puppies in the background.
That's okay. We love dogs. You can bring them on the show. We don't care.
So you've got lodging. Even I do believe when we talked to Sarah that they even have campgrounds right on the facilities there at the UP State Fair, right?
Yeah. So as far as hotels go, I would say Terrace Bay Hotel, or you could always stay at the Bayview Motel. Those are right on the water in the bay between Escanaba and Gladstone. So those are pretty good locations if you're wanting access directly to the water. And then as far as campgrounds go, there's actually a campground by the mouth of the Escanaba River where that comes into the bay, and that's called Pioneer Park. And then there's campgrounds right on the fairgrounds where the expo is taking place as well.
Yeah, we found that out last time. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was really cool. And also, we're gonna have food there. Do you know any names of the food vendors that are going to be there?
I don't know exactly what food vendors will be there yet. We do have quite a large variety of food trucks in this county, and it seems to be ever growing. Last year, I know that Brisket Barn was there, and that was pretty popular. They have a restaurant called Jack's over in Rapid River, and then they also do the food truck. So,
and if you have, so people that haven't visited the UP and have not stopped at Jack's along US 2, put that on your bucket list to say you've actually stopped at Jack's, because going back to what we talked about in the preview before we came out live on the show, my dad used to stop at.
Is that where the property was bought?
No.
Okay.
No. I could actually take you to the place. That's another story.
Okay. It's a story for another show.
Right? Yeah. But we also see we now have WZMQ Channel 19 is coming to the UP Ice Fishing Show as well. So we're getting more and more vendors as we go. I know Sarah's excited about bringing all these people on, from Blake's Baits to Blades themselves, Bait and Tackle. With you being there, and you're going to have a booth there at the show to talk to people, so stop by, see Morgan. She's going to be there all weekend.
Well, what if we want to get a booth? Do we need to? Who do we need to contact about getting a booth for the show? Because obviously, you've probably got a few spaces left where we can squeeze somebody in, right?
Yeah, the Daily Press would be who you would contact if you're looking to be a vendor and have a space, and they would get you set up. Let's see. Do you want a contact info?
Sure.
Specifically, maybe I shouldn't give you somebody's.
Give them the personal number. Wake them
up. Give them the personal cell phone number. How about the UP Press, their website?
I can give you the Daily Press phone number.
There you go.
That's 906-786-2021.
All right. There you go.
There you go. That'll get you in touch with the right people, get you some booth space, get some more vendors up there. What else, Morgan? Let's get a little personal on Morgan here. We know, obviously, Katelyn does a little bit of fishing and with some hunting.
A little bit.
What about Morgan? How did she get into where she is today?
Yeah, well, so I'm from the UP, born and raised Uper. I went to NMU. I got my degree in hospitality management, and I was the COVID class, so the worst time to get that degree. So 2 years later, my significant other and I decided that we wanted to move back up to this area, and here we are in Delta County, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. My job was posted in a newspaper clipping, and that was the only place that was posted, so how's that for the UP? So I've been the event coordinator for 2 years now, and in those 2 years I've put on an ice fishing derby twice. We doubled our numbers, so this past year we hit 105 participants, which was exciting, and we're hoping to expand that. The ice fishing derby is called the Big Freeze, and we're hoping that this coming winter it can be like a weekend-long event. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
If they do that, I'm going to nominate Danny to come up and do a polar dip.
Okay, so why do I get thrown under the bus for all these exciting things?
Because you make me go check the ice because I'm the bigger one.
You're right.
So that way you're going to do the polar dip.
Okay, I'm on it. Oh, we got a shout out on our live from Sarah that Nathan says Katelyn can catch bigger walleyes than Mike.
Is that true?
I thought that. That's funny.
Right. So, Morgan, do you do any fishing, ice fishing, hunting? What's your background in the outdoors?
Yeah, a little bit. So I grew up in a family with all girls, and my dad wanted sons for sure. And so we definitely do the hunting and the fishing things, summer and winter time fishing. I obviously during college didn't really do it as much. I was deep in my studies and waitressing, and then now that we are settled, I'm starting to get my toes wet in hunting and fishing again, but I definitely don't go fishing twice a week.
Well,
I don't know many people who do.
It sounds like Katelyn needs to get you out at call it an afternoon business lunch.
It's product testing.
Well, yeah, there you go. It's
Product testing, there you go.
Gotta have product testing.
Right? Morgan can help with that.
Verbiage.
Right?
Good verbiage.
So you're picking up a little bit of hunting now, you said. What's your favorite way to get out in the woods and hunt? Is it with a bow, with a rifle, and what do you go after?
Whitetail.
Whitetail. Okay. Yes. Deer hunter. There you go.
Now,
yeah, I'm a deer hunter.
Now, do you hunt back around home, or do you hunt around Escanaba?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely could.
Right? So, okay, so we do have a couple questions. One, where'd it go? I just lost it. Give me 2 seconds.
I tell you what, let's take a break.
All right.
Take our second break. We come back. We'll find the question. Danny can ask that. And we'll jump back in with that. So we're going to step outside. We're going to take our next break. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. We're back. Danny found his question before, so we got a couple questions we're going to throw here at Katelyn.
Right. So, Katelyn, on the Beaver Lures, do you have like packages? If I want packages of spoons or for crappie or for walleye or pike,
like an assortment.
Do you have a pack or something I can buy multiples of for that specific species?
Gotcha. So I don't at the moment. I'll have a new website here though in about maybe like a month, and we'll have a lot more options on there.
Well, I tell you what, when you get that new website, you let us know here at the Up North Journal. We'd be glad to pass on the information. I'm sure Adam will be on top of it, our fishing expert. And also, do you have a called Bloody Nose?
Yes, so that is one of our color combos, the Bloody Nose.
Is that in a spoon?
Yes, so we have that color pattern in all of our lures.
Okay, so what?
You gotta check it out.
Okay, I'm looking for it.
He's finding it right now. You're trying to.
So, like, the bloody nose pattern for fishing has been around forever, and we just made a version of it where, like, the red actually looks like blood, so it's pretty cool.
Is that the blood at the tip going into a white with kind of like blood splatters towards the end?
Yep, yep.
And there you have it, folks, a bloody nose lure.
And that one worked actually really well this ice season for walleye.
Okay. Most of the lures that you're making and selling, is it hard water or soft water? Where's your specialty at?
Both. So so we've got lures for year-round fishing. Pretty much all of your ice fishing jigs you can use in open water. Not all of the open water or spoons, though, you can use ice fishing.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
Yeah, we've got a variety for all the seasons. Yeah.
And Morgan, Adam, our fishing pro staffer on Up North Journal Fishing side, actually was up in the bay. He caught a nice size walleye, took a great picture, and actually Visit Escanaba got it and shared it. So that was thank you to you guys over there. But do you get out on the hard water yet, or you sticking
to hunting whitetails?
So yeah, I have stumbled out into the bay twice this past winter, but we had a really mild winter, so I was skeptical to venture too far, just because I'm pretty unfamiliar with the territory. But that's something I would like to eventually experience more of. I know that that's a culture up here. A lot of people are really into ice fishing, and yeah, it's fun to do. I have gone inland lake ice fishing growing up, but going out on the bay on Lake Michigan is a different animal.
You know, I can respect that. We got Saginaw Bay here, and I've been on the Saginaw River. That's the closest I've come to getting out on the big water, and it scares the devil out of me. It really does. I don't know. You hear the horror stories of it. I know Adam's probably laughing at me right now.
Right. Yeah, Adam's laughing. Katelyn, comment from William McConnell. Beaver Lures works great in soft water for me in Lake Erie. So, with that being said, knowing your lures get to Lake Erie, where's the furthest you've sent your lures?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure on that.
All right. Well,
I know Bill, though. Bill's an awesome guy. He actually runs a charter on Lake Erie, and they just absolutely pound the walleye.
Do you work with a lot of the charter captains, supplying them? I mean, I got to imagine they're burning through tackle, a lot.
Yeah. I mean, those are the guys that are out there every day. So I want to do like every spring a good like discount or some type of deal for charter captains, and then we just did one this spring for them. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Yeah.
Well, as working together within the community, it just comes around full circle. You help them, they help you. That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And Morgan, how is it important? Small town community like Escanaba, which is a small town in essence, but what's the community like when working with Katelyn, getting to know her and other vendors in your area, working together to get to a show like this in November?
What was the question?
So how important is it for you to have a special relationship with the vendors that you're in a small community type setting that you have up there in Escanaba? It's really important, isn't it?
It's vital, yeah. And I mean, it's easy to do when you're in a really small community to like learn who's who, and everybody is it's small town USA for sure. Everyone knows everybody, and I heard the legends of Katelyn Beaver, and obviously I have gotten to know her through like the events that I've put on, and obviously at the expo and whatnot, and it is really cool. And then if I do decide to go fishing, I know exactly who to ask. But it really is vital, and having things like this expo to bring people from outside of the area in and show them how hospitable the people of this area are is really, really important. to not only like the hunting and fishing businesses, but restaurants and hotels and stuff. And there really is quite a variety of things to do in this area. So,
and everybody relies on everybody, you know. I mean, what helps one business helps another person.
Well, that's
you know,
kind of what we're, you know, that's, you know, our partnership with Sarah over at the press, kind of promoting that, like having you two on tonight, who we have on next month, and so on, all the way up to the show. And before you know it, by the time we get to the show, we're all
know everybody up there.
Yeah, we're gonna know, you know, we're gonna know all the vendors, and having you two on board. And Katelyn, really, you're already a legend. And
a legend.
Morgan, tell us some of those legendary tales I've heard.
Or better yet, save them, and we'll, you know. But
yeah.
Right. So.
Well, if you follow her social media, you'll see what I mean. The pictures are quite impressive. She puts those lures to work. Definitely puts them to work.
All right. Okay, so that's a good segue into this picture I'm showing right now on Facebook. You have a bunch of blades laid out, and they are literally glowing. So, what's up with glowing blades, I guess?
Yeah, so mainly for salmon fishermen, but they're great for deep water fishing or nighttime fishing, murky water too. And it just helps to catch a fish's eye, I guess, from further away, or in like deep water fishing, especially salmon fishing when you're, 80 feet down there. There's not much sunlight.
So did you see that done somewhere else? Did you think about it, or just from?
Yeah, so there are other lure companies that do make glow lures, and I love fishing, so that's just something I really wanted to add to the collection, I guess. Yeah.
So with a glow lure, glow in the dark, kind of what you refer to it as, or a glowing lure, it's got to be charged somehow. What type of light do we use for that if we were to buy one of those from here? Is it just natural light?
Yes, so you could really use any type of light. The stronger the light, the better. You can use sunlight, phone light, flashlight. We do send out a free UV LED keychain light with any glow order on the website.
Okay.
And those work really well to charge them up.
So if it needs to be charged, I pull it out of my box, I'm out there on the ice, and I'm going to charge it up. How long do I need to charge this for to make it get bright?
Yeah, so you can charge it up for a few seconds, and it's going to last you a few hours.
Really? Wow.
Off of an hour charge, it'll last up to 8 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
crazy. It will dim, but it'll still glow.
Okay.
Not only for blades, but you do those also on jig heads?
Yep, so all of our lures, we have glow options. And then on all of our lures, we also add sparkles. So that's kind of something I wanted to make my own twist on, I guess. And when the sun's like beating down on the water and you're bringing your lure through it, you can really see how much those sparkles reflect the sunlight.
Really?
So that adds, some added attraction. And then I also think it looks like fish scales in the sun. So that's pretty cool, too.
Wow.
There you go.
Innovative.
Hey, she's thinking out of the box. Well, who would think about sparkles? Right?
Yeah, it's, you're thinking something different, something that's going to set it apart from everybody else's stuff, and it's going to make it work better as well. It's not just because it's flashy, it's because it works.
Right, exactly. So, tell you what, she sounds like she's busy doing R&D.
Yeah.
Right?
Product development and product testing.
So next winter, we're actually going to be in 54 Meijer stores. So I'm super excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is it going to be exclusive to Michigan, or is it going to be a couple of different states?
So it'll be a couple different states. It's going to be they call it their lakeshore stores.
Okay, so we probably won't see it here?
Fishing areas.
Well, we might see it down here. Probably see it up near the bay, I would imagine.
We might see them by the bay. We might see them by the bridge. Over Port Huron.
Yeah, Saginaw?
Yeah, Algonac.
Okay.
Sure.
That'd be interesting to see. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We see it in the store, we'll have to take a picture and say, hey, we found him here at our place, so that's cool.
Question for you, Morgan. We know we were talking about bringing more vendors to the show. Are you looking for any vendors in any specialties?
So last year we had primarily hunting and ice fishing, but there were a couple of people that had like UP themed stuff or Michigan themed stuff, things that were handmade, like quilts or, you know, wooden bowls or knives or whatever, things that are kind of more attuned to the nature lover, but not necessarily something that you need to go hunt or ice fish.
And actually, I think when we had Sarah on a couple weeks ago, we were showing some of the pictures from last year, showing videos, and I think you had an artist there and
decoy carver,
taxidermy,
decoy.
Yeah, he was selling furs, is what he was.
Yeah.
But you know, like, that's awesome.
Yeah, there was somebody making signs that could be like custom for your like log cabins, and you know, have your family's name or whatever you wanted written on the sign. And I actually bought one of those hand painted lures, and they are beautiful. It's art, honestly. I have it sitting on my desk, and it's a lure that you can actually use ice fishing, obviously a decoy rather. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's a bluegill, and it's so colorful.
You know, speaking of lures, Danny and I we tossed this around, and I'm just going to throw it out there. So you got the show coming up, you know, and Danny and I, we've been up to Tip Up Town. That's in East Tawas, right? And then where we went?
Houghton Lake.
Well,
Tip Up Town is Houghton Lake. We were at Perch Fest.
They've got little badges or buttons with a design on them every year. Katelyn, did you ever think about possibly making a lure just specifically for the expo and selling as a collector's item?
Yeah, so we actually do occasionally do like logo lures or custom business lures. I was thinking about making maybe like 50 up for some raffles, so we'll see.
Cool.
I tell you what, if you did a 2023 UP Expo lure and then started that trend, I think you'd have a hit. Just, you know, don't have to put a hook on. We don't have to put a hook on it. We don't need some kid running around with his. Don't need that
hanging it in somebody's ear,
right? But yeah, we're all. But yeah, that would be awesome. We threw the idea at Sarah, and now we have somebody that actually makes lures.
There you go.
Idea at her.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Morgan, what do we got going on? I know we're talking way out into November 3rd to the 5th, over at the UP State Fairgrounds. It starts on Friday, ends on Sunday. But we got some things coming up during the spring and summer. When is actually the busiest time for Escanaba? When would you say is, it's the busy season? Or is it actually all year round up in Escanaba?
So definitely summertime is like the busy season. We've got concerts, farmers markets, races going on. There's, like I said, lots of car shows. There's different little festivals here and there. We've got Boogie Fest and NEMA Music Fest and the Northern Lights Music Fest, and kind of a good time. The Waterfront Art Festival was something I went to last year and really enjoyed. That was in August. And there's Marina Festival. So, I mean, summer's definitely the busy time, and that's when it's very hot and everyone wants to be right on Little Bay to Knock. So that's definitely the busiest. Aside from that, obviously fall and the fall colors is quite busy, and then in the winter things definitely slow down. People aren't braving the cold as much.
I have to say, everybody up there, you brave the cold.
Yeah, right?
And the deep snow.
Nobody likes it, not even us.
Exactly. So, with that being said, folks, if you get a chance, go on over to Facebook. Visit Escanaba has a website at visitescanaba.com. They've also got a Facebook page. Katelyn over at Beaver Lures has both a website and a Facebook page. Go over there, check her out. Go over, check out the website as well. But we're going to come up on our last break, and that means it's time for us to ask you some questions from us.
All right, we're going to step outside. We take our last break. We come back. We'll wrap up the show. We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. We kind of wrapped up all the questions that are coming in, unless we see any more pop in here real quick. But we get to that part of the show where we got our 4 questions that we throw to everybody that's new to the show. So I'm going to turn Danny loose. I'll try to keep him under control as best I can, but he doesn't bite.
Right, exactly. And, it again, thank you for both of you coming on the show tonight. Well, obviously, we're talking about the UP Ice Fishing Expo and Hunting Expo coming in November 3 through 5. But we talked all about that. But now let's ask our questions to you. So we'll start with Morgan. So, and then you can answer, Katelyn, after Morgan.
And you got to come up with a different answer.
Yeah. Not one of those, well, what she said. No, that can't happen. So, all right. So, Morgan, you're traveling around the UP. You're doing your Visit Escanaba duties. Maybe you're running around or anything like that from town to town. Maybe you're going over to a new event. What are you listening to on the radio?
You mean like genre or station?
Yeah, genre. Yeah, go with genre. Yep.
Gosh, you know what? So Spotify does this thing where it tells you your playlists.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And my end of the year wrap up was that my music listening patterns are pretty erratic. So pretty much everything except for screamo or opera.
All right.
So I can't really give you an answer.
Well, so then if you were to actually push a button on a radio station and go, I want to listen to rock, country, what would you be listening to? Pop, Justin Bieber?
So no. I'm not that young. So I guess probably country would be my default.
Old or new?
Depends what mood I'm in, but I mean, lately I've been listening to a lot of Keith Urban.
Okay.
Getting prepped for this concert we've got July 21st and 22nd.
There you go.
There you go. Good segue into that throw out, right? All right, Katelyn, what are you listening to on the radio?
Yeah, I definitely have heard some more Keith Urban on the radio lately. But, I mean, I definitely listen to a lot of country and rock.
Okay.
So have either of you seen Keith Urban in concert?
No, I haven't.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
He does a great concert. I've seen him a few times down here, and he does a good heck of a show. So it'll be a good one. Okay, so you both are traveling. You're listening to your respective musics, Justin Bieber included. Don't lie. You got to have a snack. What's your go-to snack that you're going to have on your way, on your travels? Morgan.
Trail mix or jerky.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Trail mix
Dots
or jerky.
pretzels.
Everybody goes protein. Everybody likes. There's a lot of jerky that we get on the show.
What'd you say, Katelyn?
Yeah, I said Dots pretzels for sure.
Dots pretzels.
I'm addicted to those.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Good. Okay, so we'll reverse it now. Katelyn will go first. So Mike and Dan are coming up, and Katelyn is going to make us a meal that she says, Mike and Dan, you guys have got to have this. What are you going to cook us?
Maybe some salmon that has been soaking in brown sugar and soy sauce, and then put it on the smoker. It's pretty good.
I had something similar, but it wasn't done on a smoker, so yeah, I'm there. That's good.
Right? All right, Morgan, what's your meal of that for Mike and Dan to have?
So in our house, pretty much twice a week we have venison burgers. So I would say you're probably looking at a deluxe venison burger with hand-sliced fries in the air fryer.
I'm liking it.
That sounds
Right? Man, the unfortunate of doing this segment is Mike and I are both now drooling and we're hungry.
I always wrap up the show hungry. But air fryer's been the newest best friend for me and Nancy. We use the air fryer on a lot of stuff. You can't go wrong.
Denise has one. I don't have one yet, but I get it.
You will. You will.
It's going to happen.
It's thebomb.com, man. You can put a grilled cheese in there.
Really?
Yeah. But when you put a grilled cheese in there, you got to put a toothpick through it, because if you don't, the bread starts floating and flying around.
Okay.
It blows pretty good in there, you know. It gets a good breeze.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
Right,
so it blows stuff around.
All right, Katelyn. So we have an amazing salmon, smoked salmon at that. But now we're going to sit down around a fire. You're going to tell us why, besides you're a legend, obviously, in the UP already at your age. But what story are you going to tell us that resonates with you, past experience, that say, you know, Mike and Dan, you got to hear this story. Funny, to the heart, whatever story. What would that story be?
That's a good question. I can think of an interesting one from bow season 2 years ago. So me and my boyfriend Lucas love hunting, mainly bow hunting, and we don't have cell service out there. So I go and drop him off with the wheeler at his spot, and then I go to my spot, and then at the end of the night I go and get him. And I got like a half-mile walk alone back to my wheeler. And so I go and pick him up, and he's like, Katelyn, you're not going to believe what I saw. And I'm like, what? And he said a 7-point buck came running out through his pile, and then he heard a bunch of crashing coming through the woods, and there were 2 wolves chasing it. And one of the wolves stuck by his tree stand and circled him, just growling at him. And he was like yelling at it, trying to get it to run off. And it came back 2 separate times. And he's like, all I was thinking was that you make it back to the 4-wheeler.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was kind of freaky. But that's like one of the most, I guess, interesting experiences with a wolf that we've had.
There you go.
So let me ask you this, okay? Because I've hunted at Danny's place. 2 years ago? 2 years ago. No, last year, bow season. And you know, we've had these stories and conversations back and forth about the wolves up there, and I got to hear them, you know, cut loose one night. But I'm thinking, when I'm up there, I've got my CPL, completely legal to carry while you're bow hunting, as long as you have a CPL license. I would be carrying a sidearm with me if I had wolves, especially after that. After circling the tree that you're in, I would think twice about going out with just my bow.
See, but we were both under the age of 21. I
Right.
still am.
Right.
So we're just out there with our bows.
Yeah.
No cell service.
Not good.
Right?
You just have to run faster than him.
Make sure you hit him in the knee and run.
Yeah.
But that is a legitimate thought that goes through your head, whether you see him or don't.
Yeah.
You literally, I've been there plenty of times sitting there going, okay, they're sounding off and I'm up a tree and now I got to get down. It's a great feeling. So Morgan, go ahead, Katelyn.
I was gonna say, the thing was like a few days leading up to that day, we were finding like these nasty big like hairballs around our bait pile, and we were like, what is this from? And I mean, that's clearly it was just wolves in the area. It's crazy.
Were they taking deer down? Is that what the hair was from?
It was just like a nasty looking hairball. I don't know what it was from.
So on one of our roads up there, within 100 yards, we had 4 big piles of coyote poop, fresh from the night before. You can see the tracks on the road. They're running right down the middle of the road. So yeah, it's a great feeling. So all right, Morgan, what's your story?
Well, I was gonna go for a heartthrob, but now I don't know. Maybe I'll match Katelyn's. I've got a crazy wolf story too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't believe. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
I got a lot of wolf stories. But 2 years ago as well, I shot a 10-point buck, and I was walking back to the camp, and it's probably like maybe a half-a-mile walk. I'm in the kitchen. I say, Dad, I just shot a 10-point buck. I said, we got to go get it. I turn around, look out the kitchen window, and I'm not kidding you. There were 2 mature male wolves following exactly where my footprints were back to where I just walked from. I said, Dad, grab your pistol and like, let's go now, because those wolves are going to find that deer before I do. And that was, not going to lie, the biggest buck I've ever shot. So my heart was in my stomach and it was like, let's race. Like, we need to get out there yesterday. But luckily, we did recover the deer. It was, it had only ran about 50 yards, and luckily the wolves didn't find it first, or they were watching us.
That's freaky, yeah.
I tell you what, that if nobody's experienced, they have no clue. But when you're out there and either you see the wolves, you hear the wolves, the coyotes, even bears, and you know, we got mountain lion too that runs up there. That's even more of a weird thought, that you're going to get jumped from a tree and not even know it. But yeah, it's a different type of thought. You're out there listening to those wolves, and I've had neighbors up there. She's been walking her dogs, and all of a sudden, you know, you get that feeling, something's kind of watching. You look over your shoulder, and they're 100, 200 yards behind you, coming down the road, you know, following you. Yeah,
looking for dinner.
Right?
Well,
so I totally get it.
I get it. I've been charged by a coyote. I come out of a tree stand one night, and a coyote actually charged me got within about 20 yards before he finally figured out that it's like, oh, that's not an animal, that's a hunter, and turned and ran. But it makes the hair in the back of your neck stand up.
All right, so who knows Russell Ralph?
I have seen him. I think I know who it is.
Okay, so his comment is, the classic Uper one-up hunting story. He's just kidding.
I knew I should have gone with the heartthrob.
And Katelyn's going, I knew I should have went last.
Oh my God.
But those are our 4 questions that we ask all our newbie interviewers. So we just like to make it light, heart, fun. So
like sitting around a campfire.
That's right. So okay, so one last time, where can we go, Morgan, to find out more about November 3rd through the 5th, the UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo?
I would encourage you to either call the Daily Press or to check out our website. We will be updating the information as we get it. Visit Escanaba.com.
And Katelyn, where can we go to find out more about Beavers Lures?
Yes, so we've got a Facebook and an Instagram, and we also have a website, just beaverslures.com.
All right there it is.
There you go, folks, live on the screen. So, once again, thank you both very much for coming on the show. We expect to see both of you there in November.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we talk prior to that, before that. So
I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Hang on for just a few minutes. We'll chat right after we wrap up here. But for those of you who are listening over on iTunes, if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes, make sure you give us a review. That helps people who support us in return. And if you're listening to the podcast, once again, as Danny's always said before, you need to watch the live shows. You can catch us on YouTube later in the week, or you can stop in over here on Facebook and just hit the play button and you get to watch the whole show, but you miss what we talk about in the breaks.
You got folks, you got to watch the live show to see what we talk about in the breaks. If not on live Facebook, go over to YouTube. Usually by the Sunday night, I'll have it posted on YouTube. You'll see it as a live season, as a premiere for us on YouTube. And when you're over there, make sure you give us a subscribe button there. Next week
we've got
the Facebook jail's favorite, Lincoln Roan.
That's right. Are we going to be able to get through without getting kicked off the internet?
I think we got a better shot than Randy Stoppenhagen.
Yeah,
so
there we go. We got a couple of guys that we like to talk to that sometimes get us in a little bit of trouble.
Right? So, but he is the owner of Packermax, and we will have him on next week's show.
Yeah, and he just made a huge announcement for Packermax.
Yes, he did.
We'll be talking about that next week.
We'll definitely make sure to talk about that next week.
So that's going to do it for us this week. And as well, go over to our social media pages and smash that like button as well. Give us a like, follow, share the show for us. It helps us. It's going to help these young ladies in their endeavors as well. So that's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back again next Wednesday night, same time, 7:30, right here on Facebook.
This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Deer Camp Coffee,
Buck Baits,
JPO Game Calls,
The Island Armory,
Packermax,
Sunrise Archery,
and C3 Better the Hunt technology.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.